All right, welcome to this bi-weekly meeting for Space City Rocketry, March 21st, 2023. Never mind. Here you go. All right, the agenda for this bi-weekly meeting, shout outs, who has gone above and beyond in the last 2 weeks. Spaceport housing is up next, an update on our VRBO. Is that how you say it?
Mhm.
Critical design review, what is a critical design review and when will our presentation be? How can you help it make it successful? AIAA stickers, find out how to purchase the new stickers. Rocket keychains, find out how to purchase keychains. Then next up, technical report, how and when are we getting started on this year's technical report? Next, we have upcoming events, what events are on the horizon? And then lastly, we'll end it off with our favorite sub-team updates, what each sub-team has been working on. So first up, shout outs. Shout out to Wes for finding a potential lab space for propulsion. Thank you, Wes. Hopefully. Next up, huge shout out to Irvin Soriano for donating $400. Thank you, Irvin. As well as Emily Umble for donating $500. And lastly, Carlos Soriano for donating $420. Let's go. Thank you, guys. All right, next shout out goes to Nikolai for working with Kurt with ham radio and avionics. Gabe for being an awesome pressure testing and battery testing. Celine for being super active and helpful in avionics. So thank you guys for helping out. You guys are amazing. All right, next up, Spaceport housing.
Cool. So, exciting update for Spaceport. I got a message over spring break on VRBO. You know, the host messaged me and she was like, "Hey, Ravi, unfortunately, we're selling the house in May, so you'll have to cancel and find a new place." And I was like, "Great, that's exactly what we wanted to hear." So we're back on the hunt, back house hunting, townhome hunting, Las Cruces hunting. Jesse, we need to find a house. You get it? No? The Breaking Bad reference? Yeah. All right. All right. I don't need the pity laughs. All right. All right. But we do actually need to find a new house. So if you would like to help us, if you scan the QR code, you'll be taken to a Google Sheet. Right now we have 3 potential options that we're looking at. These are the best 2. The other third one is not as good, I think. But option 1 is the one on the left. It's a townhome, so it'll be shared roughly with a community there. And it has a community pool and a bunch of other amenities. And it sleeps 11, which is pretty good. And then option 2 is its own house on the right, that white house. It is newly renovated as well. It has a basketball pad, a basketball hoop. Yeah. And it sleeps 12. So we're going to be looking at a few more options. Our refund from the cancellation should be coming in later this week, if not early next week. So once that refund comes in, I think we're going to try and make a decision and hopefully buy one. Luckily, there are a lot of options. Well, about 5 to 6 options still available, which is better than I thought for this point. But I have a feeling some other teams are always on the hunt for those dates as well. So as soon as that refund comes in, we're going to try and make a decision. Yeah, feel free to update that with anything that you may find. The dates for Spaceport are June 18th through June 25th and we want to stay in Las Cruces, New Mexico. So yeah, let us know, and then we'll definitely be sure to incorporate y'all on our final decision once it comes time to make that. All right, next up is the critical design review. So you've probably heard in the past few weeks the rumblings of our critical design review, or CDR. I just wanted to define it for everyone, as I know it can be a little intimidating, especially if we haven't had these presentations before, or you haven't had experience working in this kind of timeline. So the best way I think I could describe it is a comprehensive technical review of Shasta the Six and our project to ensure that the team can move forward with testing and fabrication. So I know we've already started testing and fabrication, and that's because ideally you have your critical design review um, shortly after your preliminary design review, I guess, with us. So if we had this earlier in the semester, I think that's when like it would be ideal with a engineering timeline. But to be honest, the team has never really stuck or kept in tune with that timeline. So we're having it a little later than usual, but it will still be very beneficial for us as it'll give our alumni, advisors, us and sponsors a chance to assess our final design and then give approval for all of our aspects of the rocket. So based on the feedback from the PDR that we've got, and I think most of the changes we made since then have been in accordance with the advice that they've given us. They should be pretty approving of our final design. I don't think there is anything that's like too outlying that they're like extremely worried about, at least fingers crossed. So we want to have the CDR to really give us that final stamp of approval with our design. And then later on, I guess we'll make this decision after the CDR, depending on how that goes. But we may have an FRR, which is a flight readiness review, and that will be more related to making sure that we know our assemblies for spaceport, we're ready to combat the environment, we're pretty much know all of the things that we need to know once we get on the ground in Spaceport America and we need to launch. So keep an eye out for that. But the date for the CDR is going to be roughly around April 7th to April 14th. Those two dates on the ends are probably the most likely, but we will let you know once a final decision has been made. We don't want to interfere with Coachella and other engineering events, just so that we don't like overload any of our members with a lot of stuff in 1 week. So as soon as that decision is made, we'll let you know as well. We also need volunteers. Like last time, we will need some note takers for all of the questions that we'll face, and then also some ushers. So I guess today wasn't really a good like preview, but hopefully we can hold the CDR in CBB. It's probably going to be the same kind of method that we had today of trying to just find a room that's open. So I don't know how that's going to go, but if we do that, then we'll need people at the front doors of CBB just to guide anyone in, because we won't have a room number until late. Yes.
What is the process for booking a room for CBB? Because like if we have, are any of the sponsors gonna be here in person?
Don't know yet.
Because if they are, we probably want to make sure we have one nailed down, so they're like, where to go. Because, you know, why don't you book a room, like talk with the students and like for students?
In like, oh, in north or south,
Yeah.
I think we could do that.
Because I've looked into booking.
Yeah, as long as you don't need to pay an additional fee, then we can definitely do that.
They're kind of like study room. Oh, I don't know. I did it before COVID.
Okay.
And it was kind of like the same thing as study room type of deal.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we can look into it. And then lastly, for the CDR, I know our PDR was like 3 hours long, or 2 hours long, or however long it was, way too long. So we got some feedback, or I got some feedback from Dr. Chang, and she said in industry, they're never this long. You're lucky to get like 45 minutes out of a PDR or CDR. So I'm aiming to have us be presenting for a total of 30 minutes and then leaving around 30 minutes for questions to keep it at an hour. Hopefully we can be clear and concise within our time. And I think that'll also alleviate a lot of the stress that we've experienced in the past with these presentations of making sure that we've covered everything or just being up here and speaking for a really long time. So hopefully those are some welcome changes that will occur.
All right, stickers. Puma, sit. Good girl. Sorry. Stickers are a sell again. All proceeds will help support AIAA and their project teams in reaching their goals, including us. So please fill out the interest form. 1 sticker is $3, 2 stickers $5. They're really nice looking. They're like super pretty. If you want to put them on like not a well, like a reusable water bottle or like your laptop and things like that, that'd be really cool. Rep the team. Okay, rocket keychains. We're in the process of manufacturing 3D printed rocket keychains. The proceeds will go directly to fundraising the rest of SCR's manufacturing items in Spaceport. So the flat keychains are $3. Wes, did you bring any?
I've got a bunch.
No way. That's so cool. Wes printed out the flat keychains. Orlando, Parsa, and a couple of others are helping print out the bubble keychain for $5. If you want your own custom keychain, however, you can do that for an extra additional $2. So a total of $7. Yes.
I'd love to help print these.
Really?
I just got into 3D printing.
Oh, okay. Okay. Someone in the audience was asking to help out, which you're more than welcome to. Just DM me after, and I'll send you the file. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Wes is passing out the flat keychains.
They're still gotta be cleaned up, like all some of so the black ones are like rubbery.
You said the black ones were stretchy, right?
Yeah, they're like TP.
Oh.
Black, gray, orange.
Blessed donations, woe and Yah. Okay. Technical report.
The cookie cutting thing.
Oh, like the frames. Yeah,
Pocket cookie.
that'd be
Oh,
cool. All right, the technical report. So we talked about this at the last meeting, but we're still looking for volunteers. We're gonna assign you guys to take some notes of last year's technical report, mainly just look at the outline. Also look at the documentation provided by Spaceport and all of the requirements that they're looking for in this year's technical report, and start to put together an outline for this year's report. It is due May 1st, which is coming up quick. So we want to get ahead of schedule and start working on it as soon as possible, and avoid that kind of last minute crunch that we've had for the past years. It is, I will say, a great opportunity for your newer members to get incentivized and also acquainted with more aspects of the rocket outside of your sub team. I think it will be great to take charge of something like this and really help us out. I know when I started out, technical writing was an absolute pain, but doing a lot of it really helped me understand more about the rocket and more about rocketry in general. And it really helped me for my engineering writing classes. And really, once you get into capstone, you'll understand how valuable that technical writing is because of all the reports that you have to write and all that. So it massively helps you, or massively helps the team and helps develop your skills. So please DM me and let me know if you're interested. We're always looking for more volunteers. Thank you.
All right, upcoming events. So Avionics is going to be hosting their easy mini pressure testing that's happening this Thursday during their lab time. So feel free to stop by at the SR1 lab. Boomer, sit. Good girl. All right, payload is also they're going to be doing testing as well. That'll be happening next week. So if you're interested in attending, please reach out to Izzy or Kevin. And then we have the bake sale, which is hopefully going to be happening next week as well. Boomer, what are you doing? She's saying hi to Robbie. Bad service dog. Don't tell anyone, guys. Do you guys want to say hi to her, by the way? Okay, I can let her go. I'll take off the vest. I mean, Robbie's already petting her. Me too. Okay, in the middle of a meeting, I will let Buma go. All right, go say hi. Go say hi to people.
It's like finally off shift.
She barely got on shift. I'm sorry if she's a little grimy. She needs a bath. Yeah. All right. Okay. I'll keep talking. We'll pretend like that's not going on. Paintball social. I want to do that by the end of this month. So expect a message from me soon. I'll be reaching out to you about payments and things like that. So basically the way it's going to work is we're going to go ahead and pay ahead of time to the SCR account. That way we can just pay off at the end and go ahead and book that session. What is she doing? She's scratching. She's gone. All right. And then reminder, CDR is happening April 7th or April 14th. We have not decided yet. That's tentative. But we'll figure it out after this officer meeting for sure. All right, next up, analysis sub-team. Take it away, analysis.
I don't know if they're here. Yeah, I can present them.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I don't think there are too many updates from analysis. Oh, something we forgot to mention. Joe and I are going to be meeting with all the sub-team leads throughout this week just to reorient our timelines, make sure we're all on the same page, introduce some new tasks that we'd like to see get done, get some updates on some previous tasks and testing, and really how everything is going to shape out for the rest of the semester. So I know I haven't been too involved with analysis, unfortunately. So I do want to talk to them. I think mainly what I'm going to focus on is introducing finite element analysis and really helping out with testing in the team. So keep an eye out, analysis members, for an announcement from Ariba and Leo later on this week with some more specific updates. There is also the new Open Rocket file on the drive if anyone is interested in looking. All right, next up is avionics. The sub team with Riz, apparently.
Yeah, we do have it. So what are you talking about? What do you mean? Is there a problem? No, there's no
Oh
problem.
no, as long as it's you, I think you have the most.
Oh, I have to lie to everyone like that. Okay, but for our updates, thankfully, we have completed about 3/4 of our batteries. We just need to test the last one lab. This Thursday, that should not take long whatsoever, 15 minutes at most, so we can still get our easy meeting testing on the same date. We're also doing PC schematics. Oh no, we did our PC schematics. Orlando did an awesome, fantastic job with that. Shout outs to him. Also, we have good documentation of our antenna, and as already stated, we did complete our altimeter testing about 3 weeks ago. And again, current task, again, that last battery. And now that we have our easy mini and our game sense all set up, I can actually, well, we can start getting right down to our ground station and setting up our data collection. That's going to take a bit of coding. Fortunately, I have to put my degree to use. I'm not looking forward to that. Also, antenna building. That's also something we're still working on with Kurt. And a new problem that came up with dealing with our battery is actually making it so that the batteries don't explode in the rocket, and working on a cooling solution for that. So that's something that we'd like to work with payload. Otherwise, we would have one hell of an application, the center Raytheon technology, to get a jump, and that would be the silver lining of this. But other than that, future tasks, our SRAD breadboard testing, that's something to look forward to. And finally, getting those PCB boards manufactured and get those done. So that should be it for avionics.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, avionics. Glad to see you all in the work. Keep it up. Next up is payload.
Fresh pigs.
Hello, everyone. So for completed tasks, we haven't worked on too much in the past weeks, but we do have our two connectors now for our cooling system. You can see the little connectors in the pictures on the right. And then me and Frankie also tried wrapping the tubes around the vial, as you can see, and then we duct taped it together, and it works pretty well. So really happy with that. And then I have the CAD of how the connectors will fit inside the lid. So that's very exciting as well. As for our current task, we're going to start working on our sensors very soon, and we want to try doing our infrared sensor testing by next week. We're still working on our testing plans and procedures for all our tests. And then, of course, we're still working on our backup plans in case anything bad happens with the sensors or flies. And then we're working on the lid for the vials, machining the FECU, and then updating and revising the statement of work. For future tasks, we'll be detailing the upkeep instructions for the flies, and then working on the SDL payload challenge submission. And then, of course, getting the flies, because we'll be getting the flies really soon. So expect some flies to be in the lab in the next coming weeks. Yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Payload. Also, shout out Kevin. He's launching his L1 this weekend, hopefully. So if you are interested in going to South Side, yeah, South Side to support Kevin, definitely go out. All right, next up, propulsion. Scott.
I'm here. All right, we worked through the safety and procedure documents, so pretty much done. We are also looking for suppliers for aluminum powder and the PBAN. It's pretty challenging because it's like really expensive or sketchy, so we're trying to find something that we will be able to do. And Professor Hoffman said that he'd be able to get us a lab if we get the dean's permission, thanks to Wes for reaching out to that professor. So that's our best bet right now. And yeah, when we can, we'll be placing purchase orders because the stuff's very expensive. We might have to buy several different batches of the same chemical in different grain sizes and things like that. So we'll figure that out. Fabricate the fuel and then test it so we can model and burn sim. It's kind of the same deal that we've been looking at. It's going pretty slow, but eventually it should pick up once we get everything bought and assembled. We can start testing. And that's all for propulsion.
Well, thank you, Scott. And exciting times. If we're able to get this lab, that's going to be crazy. If anyone knows the dean of NSM and is somehow in good faith with him, let me know so we can send him some cookies or something. Right.
Professor Hoffman's advice is like, respect and like being very polite was the wrong. That's all he said. That's the only hint that he could give.
Okay.
So he's super respectful and polite. So suits,
I'm down. I'll do it. Anything for a lab space. All right, next up is recovery. Titus on fire. Titus, are you on fire?
Apparently.
All right, so completed tasks. We figured out this parallel tender to sender configuration. It's technically in series, but it is convoluted. Our current task is some recovery art, which is basically done. Can you stop?
Oh my. I'm sorry. She really likes your shoes.
Not
She likes
tasty.
you.
So they're mostly finished. We just need to touch up a few things with the with that. We need to work on some parachute folding and knot practices, as well as daisy chaining. We need to figure out specific types of knot that would be good to use for our
You have
for
dogs?
us.
Do you have dogs?
Yeah.
Maybe that's why.
Future testing is we possibly have another drug testing once we have the Easy Mini ready to go. Because we cannot work with the data that we currently have. It just sucks. And we possibly have a safety video in the making, courtesy of Christian. And that's basically it for recovery.
Cool. Thank you, Titus, who's on fire. All right, lastly is structures. I'll be taking over for Brandon tonight. So completed is the coupler rail testing assembly. Huge shout out to Alex. You can see that in the picture here. Pretty much what we're going to do is grip onto one side with this aluminum block here on the tensile testing machine in the MatSci lab, and then grip onto the rail on this side and then pull until something happens. So should be an exciting test, very, very high speed. We got you. Currently, Structures is working on actually performing that tensile testing on that coupler rail assembly and the bulkheads. Hopefully, we can get that done in around 2 weeks. We'll have to reach out to Hamami to schedule a time in the lab to where we can do that, make sure they're there and we're following all the rules that they've let us know about. And also finishing the bulkhead manufacturing. I know we're also waiting on some avionics bulkheads coming in from Wildman, and then also looking at different materials for the rails and testing them, seeing which one may be most advantageous for our situation or application. In the future, very excitingly, we want to test the new fin structure, which is recommended by Randy. So I'm gonna give Randy a call tomorrow night to talk about the honeycomb and carbon composite structure. He's offered a lot of materials, a lot of equipment that he has at his house to help us make our fins out of these, or out of this honeycomb and carbon fiber, like tip to tip layup. So hopefully we can find a date in the coming weeks, maybe like the weekend, where we just go over there, spend like the entire day working on this. Hopefully end up with a sheet of this material that we can then cut our fins out of. So fingers crossed for that, and we really hope that works. And huge thank you to Randy for offering his guidance and all of the expensive equipment and materials for that. And then starting final manufacturing. So I know I was talking to Brandon earlier about getting a diagram of the entire rocket and then denoting what size screws are in which location, so that we all have kind of one final guide to reference. And they'll also help us with packing for spaceport and making sure that we have everything that we need, and we can account for all of the different types of screws and heads that we'll need for the rocket. Yeah, that brings this meeting to a close. Any questions? Yes, Wes.
Let's say you tender December.
A tender descender? Titus.
What?
You have a question.
What's a tender December?
Explain the new parallel descender.
It's basically this little device that has a charge connected to it. You send a signal to the charge and it comes apart. And the idea is that we have a shock cord that's connected to the tender centers. So whenever the tender centers explode, it releases the shock cord and allows for the main bag to separate.
It's like it's not a bolt. That's my, that's those orange things right there.
Yeah, it's like if bolts were falling in midair connected to rope that are separated eventually.
I don't like that. It's sort of really stuck with you. Sounds like a new hot needle over at Cracker Barrel.
I remember asking about what they were last year and someone told me something about something and I was like, thank you. I don't understand. It's like, oh, just let the road separate. I'm like, just like programming.
And then when I finally understood, I was like, wait, it's that simple? Like, I was really over. I never knew what they were. I just covered. I just. So I attended. So yeah, I was like, cool, that's the name of something.
Complicated, like they just, that's
I'm telling you, it's the name.
Oh, that's fire. You're on fire, man.
Hey, where are you doing the testing for the fiber?
In the material science lab. We don't have a date yet, but it'll be.
If I order like fiberglass couplings, it's like. Y'all help me out with testing.
I can put you in contact with the professor, who's really chill, and then you should be able to like schedule it with your team too. Cool. Any other questions? Go Cougs. Yeah. Go Cougs. All right. Thank you for coming. We'll end the recording now. Have a nice night.